Hello everyone, I'm here with Bryan Pittman. Bryan Pittman's a client of mine that wanted to quit smoking. He needed some help. So Bryan, why don't you talk about how you've managed so far? It's been 30 days since your first session.
It's a month today. When I first heard about it, I heard of another lad coming here. And when I talked to him, it was off it for 4 months. And so I made an appointment to see you. And since the first day I came, which is a month today, I haven't had a cigarette or a craving for one.
Haven't had a cigarette, which is great, but the real important thing I think we want to focus on is that you haven't had a craving for one.
Not a craving, not one.
Yeah, that's amazing, because you've had some success in the past quitting using willpower. It didn't last, but that was different than this, right?
It's totally different. Where before I would still have a craving, where this time, none.
If you had to explain that, how could you? How would you? If someone came to you and said, Bryan, tell me how that's possible. How somebody who smoked for as many years as you did, explain to me how it's possible that someone could just talk to you and then all of a sudden you have no cravings.
It's very difficult. I don't know how to really sit down and explain it, other than our first meeting when I got hypnotized. I've never craved for it since. I don't know how to explain it other than that.
I think that's a pretty good explanation.
Well, thank you.
Well, it was hypnosis, so if you can't really explain it, then the emphasis can really be on what happened, which is, I don't have any cravings.
Not one, not one.
Yeah, and so I said some things to you under hypnosis, similar to, well, you are not going to have any cravings. And clearly your unconscious mind has accepted some of those suggestions.
Very much.
Very much so.
Yeah, I don't, like I say, I haven't got the craving and I don't want any.
Yeah, and so I'll clear up some of that confusion as best I can anyway. When in hypnosis, what we do is we take that critical faculty that exists between a person's conscious and unconscious mind and we compromise it. So with the participation of the client, right? It's not me doing something to Bryan. It's me explaining to Bryan that this is how it works, and then Bryan makes a decision. Does he want to go there or does he not? If he doesn't want to go there, he's probably not going to become my client. But if he does want to go there, then he is going to become my client. And now it's his desire to be hypnotized. So if you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't think I can be hypnotized, then I urge you to reach out to me and send an email and we'll book a short free consultation. I believe that once I explain to you what hypnosis is and I demystify it and we get rid of some of maybe those images you have in your head of the stage hypnotists that make people do all kinds of strange things for entertainment purposes, then it's easier for you to understand how hypnosis works. And all it really is a relaxed state where you become suggestible to the suggestions of another person. And when you accept those suggestions, as long as those suggestions are well crafted and they're in line with what you want, but when Bryan's in that suggestible state and what I'm telling him are things that are going to make him see how easy it is to be a non-smoker, then his unconscious mind will just soak that up like a sponge. And so when Bryan says, well, I can't really explain it, I just haven't had any cravings, I guess that's as close to an explanation as we're going to get, the one I just gave you. That makes sense, Bryan?
Very much.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, thanks very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And this is actually your, no, you don't have to thank me. You did all the hard work.
Yeah. Well,
so this is the third session, and this is a series of 5 sessions. And some people sometimes wonder, well, why would somebody go for 5 sessions if they can quit smoking after 1 session? Well, because there's emotional reasons for impulsive behaviors. And hypnosis on its own is quite beneficial. But when you mix it with a little bit of neuro-linguistic programming and understanding of how your unconscious thought patterns create some of these impulsive behaviors, then we can make sure that it lasts, right? Yeah. Could we use hypnosis to make you a non-smoker? Sure. So what we have to do is ensure that you're not going to start smoking again. And if we just rely on hypnosis, then we can be relatively certain that Bryan's not going to smoke. But how do we know he's not going to smoke again a year from now, 2 years from now? And that's where, if you can really understand what your unconscious thought patterns are and how your emotional processing of past events is contributing to impulsive behaviors,
Mm-hmm.
well, then you're in the clear, right? Then you're in the clear. And that's what we want. So that's why there's a total of 5 sessions. And Bryan, maybe you could speak about any other benefits that you've seen in your life. Is there anything else that you've noticed that seems to be a little bit more clear or better? You don't have to talk about details, but just that possibility that there's more than just the fact that you're not smoking that's coming out of these sessions.
I'm controlling my eating habit.
Oh, good.
Because of weight gain. I'm worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
I have gained 10 pounds, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't nibble like I used to now. After.
Oh, okay. So after our last session then.
Mm-hmm.
So let's clarify this. After the first session, you gained a little bit of weight.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so no desire to smoke, the cravings were gone. And then at the second session, you said, okay, this is what's happening with food.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did some more hypnosis around that. And
Yeah.
we haven't talked about that yet today. So now you're just telling me that that worked.
It helps. Very
It helps. Okay, good. Good. Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, I think that's good.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks very much for doing the video, Bryan.
All right, thank
That's
you.
great.